Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I am the Bardic Knock. I am going to be the game master for today as we jump back on in to playing the next session of the Final Fantasy D6 tabletop role-playing game, The Rebels of Spira. Yeah, that sounded all professional and stuff. And then I ruined it by pointing out how... Anyway, you can find me on the internet, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube, all as the Bardic Knock. I am present and content kind of occurs. That's all you need to know. I will give a recap of events, because it has been a while since we played. So, that be me. There are other faces, no names and glowing circles on the screen, who will also say words that identify who they are as the peoples. Light up circles, go!
Which light up circle do you want?
That was perfect. We don't need any more.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, yeah, because it makes sense in my mind to just, go directly below me and then across the line. So we'll start with ATB. ATB, who are you?
Okay, apparently I am on the bomb and across the line. Hi! I'm retired by. Last time we were here, it was my birthday, and now it's not. It's sad. I don't really have much of a presence on the internet at all. I can be found here either playing this game now, finally, or just lurking around on streams and just making tombstones for characters in Bardic's other games, because I keep thinking that characters are gonna die, but they don't.
I mean,
Last
session they really should have died. It was just
I was expecting someone to die. I was expecting someone to die, and then no one died. And part of me was disappointed, but also relieved. I also play on the channel of Undead K, who every second Thursday we play Curse of Strahd. Last session we finally left the village of Barovia in the land of Barovia, attacked by creepy tentacle monsters I compare to the bakers from Resident Evil. Killed him though, so it was okay. And yeah, don't really exist anywhere else. Probably for the best, honestly, but yeah.
I was gonna say you exist in our hearts and minds, so.
And that's it.
Alrighty, Natch, who are you?
I'm natural one. Nat one. Nat. Other permutations thereof. And I'm playing Malcolm, right? Is that who I'm playing?
That's
the Red Mage.
Says.
And let's see, it's been about a month since we've been here, so that's partially my fault. Sorry, everybody. I'm on Twitter. That's where I'm at. You can find me in my chaotic energy. So yeah, it's the same at as here. That's about all I got. I'm boring.
Many of these.
How dare you?
Things
That's
are
my
lies. Many of these things are lies. First of all, it's not your fault that we had to miss anything. You're not allowed to blame yourself for that.
Too late.
Oh god, ATB.
What is that cat doing?
I think it's a hug. I think it's a very sweet hug.
It's a hug.
Oh wait, no. Oh no, now I'm seeing it.
I was about to say, ATB, share the comic. That
Animated.
It's a hug.
No, it is a hug. Yes, it's a hug.
Hug.
Look, it's sweet and...
Hold on, let me find it.
Because
it's very it.
Anywho, whilst
I
that's
need
going on,
to. Oh god, I need to scroll up manually.
whilst that is going on,
For context, I am using the built-in on my laptop because my other one decided it wanted to no longer live.
so whilst that is occurring, Rain, do you want to tell us who you are?
Oh, sure. I am Brain Hayes, and you can find me. Well, you can find me on the Dungeon Masters Guild, where I have many products, and you can find me on Tuesdays on Shay Foxy's channel, where I play the werewolf lead of an investigation team, which my current picture is my character. And I'm in this game playing Reno Boom, who's about to make things go boom.
Yeah, I forgot to introduce my character.
Oh yeah, do you want to say who that is?
I play Lilith, the Dark Knight. She has the power of edge and anime on her side.
Mm.
It's great.
It's very powerful and dangerous. And
I'm gonna allow she switches jobs into a white mage.
God, then you could have a power of edge, anime, and God on your side, and we can
All
make
powerful.
We can
That'd be a
references.
priest, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Because that's a different job, isn't it?
I mean, priest isn't a job, I don't think. Like, I know it is, like, I think it's a job in, like, Final Fantasy XIV, and it's probably a job in some other bits and bobs, but, yeah. I don't know. Like, I actually quite like how in most Final Fantasy, white mage and healing magic is treated very separate from religion. I think that's pretty cool. I know the standard, cleric, religious healer person is kind of like the standard. So I respect Final Fantasy in general for not over focusing on that trope. It just has a bunch of other tropes instead.
Yeah.
But any hoozle, recap time. Let's see if I can remember this. Alright. So, we interacted with Maester Perumpt, who is a horrible, horrible human being, and just the worst. So, we stole his boat, sailed out into the middle of the ocean, realized nobody knows how to sail, accidentally came across a sunken underwater temple, interacted with it, solved a puzzle that I really should have made a map for, but didn't. But we figured it out, made friends with a pirate, sailor person, who turned into a big whale. We now have a whale friend. We came back up, got on the boat, and then the boat has been attacked / surrounded by an eye patch wearing octopus monster thing, and that is what the giant skull is, with an eye patch on. And the two smaller skulls, it's giant tentacles, but are just going and going bloop, 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 at the side. And with that, unless anybody has anything else they really want to do, we can jump straight on in, and we can have like our first real, full-on actual combat. Who remembers how to do combat?
My recollection is whatever you want to do, just roll 2d6 and hope it happens.
That's basically it. It's a really simple game
Put
system,
your
and
left-
it makes me happy.
Your left foot out.
So, this... I am not going to say this was an ambush. It probably should technically count as one, but also, effort. So we're not going to say it's an ambush. So, as per the rules, you lot get to go first. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna get my goblin bomb started.
Okay.
I'm gonna look through my stuff to see what I can even do right now.
Probably a good idea to to look at character sheets and go, what could I do? While I'm trying to find some spells.
Before I get my goblin bomb started, I'm gonna move away from people in case it blows up in my face again.
Good idea. Definitely a good idea. That's the one I want. What's the next thing I want? That. Okay. Alright, so obviously, there's no initiative in this game. It's literally just you go first, and you can decide how and when you want to move. So you've got the big octopus. It's got an eye patch. It's going blah, 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 generic evil monster noises, and the tentacles are wiggling maliciously. No, I don't know what that looks like.
It looks malicious.
It's just wiggling there, menacingly.
It's like when people are playing Among Us and said they have that crazy look in their eyes.
That is exactly it. So, if nobody has like an overwhelming desire to be like, ooh, me, I move and do stuff, I'm just going to start pointing fingers and say, what do you do?
Oh, I got stuff I can do.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I can only stab.
So I'm going to get right next to Raiko. Make sure he's protected.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to hit the octopus tentacle with my tentacle. By that I mean my whip. And by that I mean my literal whip.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a very different game if you did the other thing.
That's Rebels of Spira After Dark.
So what happened for me was when you said "and by whip" I mean by, and then I heard that, and then my mic, and then my headphones cut out briefly. It was early, and by dad and by whip I mean my static noise.
So.
Discord wanted to censor me.
Damn it, Discord.
Okay, so what I do is I roll my 2d6 plus my accuracy, right?
That is correct.
I got an 8.
An 8? Okay, wow. This thing has a really high avoidance. I actually made a difficult encounter. What the hell, me? How could I do this to people? That's horrible. No, that does not hit. An 8 does not hit.
Oh, okay. Then I stand guardingly.
Okay. You do have a second action. Because obviously
I'm going to use real dice.
You didn't really move, did you? You just kind of.
Oh.
So you can probably do something else if you've got an ability or anything you wanted to try using.
Can I attack twice?
Let me.
Am I allowed to?
I think you can. I'm not. I need to double check. Let me just go over to the general tab and reread this stuff because it has been like a month since we've done stuff. Okay. Okay. So. Okay, in a given round of combat, a character may move a short range and perform as many instant actions as they like. They may also perform one standard action. Okay, yeah. So, no, I lied. I was incorrect.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
Bardic.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just going to be guardingly then.
Okay, yeah.
Bardic, can I note something that I just did that you would appreciate?
Mm-hmm.
Decided I'm going to use real dice, so the only dice set that I have is my Kracken dice.
Nice.
I appreciate this a lot. This is,
I didn't realize that until I had them out and I saw the Kracken symbol.
This is delightfully thematic. So, to recap, Malcolm has gone whoop-wah and gone, damn. My whip isn't as good as their whips. Or, I'm distracted by, I don't know, something.
Tentacles.
It fills my mind.
I read a book about this once.
Yeah. So, Reno and / or Lilith, who would like to do a thing?
Well, my entire turn is prepping my Goblin Bomb.
Ah, so is Goblin Bomb a slow action? Ooh, that made a noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what, to make sure so that doesn't take me by surprise again, let me just do that. So thank you for the host, cool master something something something. I know who that person is, I just didn't read it properly. I know who they are, their name has numbers and letters in it, and my brain didn't process it.
Yeah.
Something dark side.
Would Lilith be able to even reach any of the tentacles or anything with her sword?
Yeah. These are technically within a short distance, so you could easily just walk on over and just flap. That is the official sound of
the tentacle.
swords. That is the official sound of sword hitting tentacle.
Yeah.
Thwap.
Thwack. So yeah, Lilith would just pat Raiko on the shoulder reassuringly, and then just go over to try to hit one of the tentacles.
All right, go for it. So roll an accuracy check. So 2d6 plus your accuracy.
Okay. Off.
8. See, it is just dawning on me.
It's going to be rolling straight 8s, I feel.
Yeah, it has just dawned on me. What I know why I gave this thing an avoidance like this. Because it is just under... You are just under 50% likely to roll what you need to roll to hit this. like, you know, straight up. Its avoidance is 9. So, you're both getting very close to hitting it, and you just can't quite. Okay. So
it's just very slightly.
So, in that case, what are you gonna do? Okay, yeah. Raiko is gonna start preparing a cure spell. Because they're fairly certain someone's gonna get thwacked real hard. So they're gonna throw that on whoever needs it. Alrighty. Now...
It's gonna be really awkward if we all dodge it.
It would be a little bit awkward because I've just realized I made an error here. That should... You can't see what I'm doing, but anybody who's watching the stream can see what I'm changing numbers. I made a mistake with hit points on these people, and I just read my notes and found out. Okay, so... Can that only hit one person? Okay, yeah, so they're not going to do that this turn. Instead, what they are going to do is... Yes. Yes. So... They are going to roll an attack, and this is going to be the 2 tentacles and any tentacles that the octopus thing has, and they're just going to start slapping the... We're all just going to start slapping the boat. So this is one attack to try and hit everybody. And its accuracy is that, so I rolled a 12. Does anybody have an avoidance of 12 or higher?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so you are all going to take, so it's that times 2, so that's 24, plus the 9 I just rolled. So you all take 33 damage. I made a tough encounter, apparently.
Okay, well, I'm down.
I'm down.
I think
Wait,
everyone
what?
is down.
What?
I only have 19 hit points.
I have like
What? I have 22.
I need to check this.
I have 25.
Did I... Hang on.
Let's go back and level up first. You save.
No. I see where my mistake has been made. That should not be 12 times 2. That should be 12 times 1. So...
Hard reset.
and you know what? I'm going to be fair. That was a ridiculously good roll. So instead of using that one... Okay, there. That is much nicer. 15 damage. That sounds appropriate. There we go. Something sounded off there. 15 damage on everybody. There we go. That seems more fair. Whew.
Okay, I'm down to 7. Then.
I'm down to 4.
So that would be 15 for me? Right? Am I doing math right?
Probably.
I don't know.
Thanks for the encouragement.
Okay, so it then goes back to your turn. So what's going to happen right off the get-go is Raiko's cure is going to go off. And thankfully, this is really good, right? Because what it says, and I could be misreading this, but it doesn't have a different set of rules for hitting multiple targets with cure. It just says, cure restores mind times 2 plus 2d6 of hit HP to any conscious target. So I'm going to say that's all of you. White mages are amazing. So Raiko's mind is that. So that means you are all going to get back. You all recover 25 hit points, apparently. That doesn't sound right.
Okay.
25?
Wait, what is the stat cap at level 1? Because I'm doing this partially from memory.
Oh, jeez.
Where's my sample character sheet? I know I have one somewhere. Oh, no, I am correct. Their mind is 10, so it's mind times 2, which is 20, plus the 5 I just rolled. You all just recover 25 hit points. Raiko's a machine, apparently.
Nice.
And then Raiko's
So
going to start
instantly-
prepping cure for the next turn.
So instantly, it's just like all damages. No.
Yeah.
I just feel like when we all that first part when we all went down, you know that in like TikToks and stuff like that where you just hear the kid go
Yeah, that is basically what happened, and I'm quickly going, wait a second. That's not right.
and then it's that Final Fantasy scene of everybody dropping to their knees and then falling to the ground.
Yeah, like, so everyone drops, and Raiko goes, no. Okay.
No!
So, you're all back up to full, and Raiko is just going to look and go, oh, I should probably keep getting that one ready, right? That looked bad. That looked like it hurt. Right?
Yeah, it did. Oh, it hurt.
Okay, I'll get
God,
it ready. Okay. And Raiko's
You're
gonna
the
start.
best kid.
Raiko's gonna start prepping another cure spell. Woo! Alrighty. Reno, do you want to make something go boom?
Yeah, Reno's gonna make something go boom. Hopefully not herself. Although she would probably enjoy that. I forgot that there's a 25% chance that this explodes in my face, so I'm gonna get my D4 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I'm not dropping dice. You're dropping dice.
Shh.
If I'm not dropping dice and you're not dropping dice, who's flying the plane?
Okay, that came off just a little too perfectly. Okay. Caster conjures black metallic sphere. So yeah, I conjure my goblin, which has a gradually grinning goblin face on it, and throw it at the nearest tentacle, dealing power times 4 plus 2d6. So where's my power? So 4 times 4 is 16 plus 2d6. 1 t plus 2 is 22. Magical fire damage.
Okay, so 22.
And then let's make sure this doesn't blow in my face. You know,
Did you just knock yourself out?
a really unfortunate thing.
Oh,
I did.
oh my.
Oh no.
It still hits the target. It just hits both of us. So
Good thing I came prepared with Phoenix down.
Okay, wait, hang on. Are you hitting this boy or this boy? Just rather the terrible
this boy.
pink color. I need a better one so you can actually see. So this boy.
Yes.
Okay, so for 22, did you say? Or 24?
Yes. 22.
Okay, boop.
Reno like runs up to it and screams out while throwing the bomb, "Make room for the bullet!" Just goes down.
Just. Oh no. Oh dear. Raiko just kind of looks around, like shuffling their hands, getting ready to cast a spell. And goes, "Oopsie, that didn't go well." Does anyone have anything they can do about that? Because I can't until next turn.
I
All part
got
of the plan.
something. Not gonna wait a specific time though.
I need to quickly check. I think
Just-
using.
Lilith just will tell like Phoenix down and was like, I got this. Oh wait, no. Was with the universe and all that.
Is using an item an instant action? Or is it a standard one? Okay, so that would be your action to use the item. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I mean, Raiko... Raiko's got a couple of Phoenix Downs. So Raiko could probably cast Cure next turn and then use that on Reno. So you could just leave Reno unconscious for the rest of this turn if you wanted to do something else.
Or wait, this would be like Lilith's turn, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing other thing I would have done was try to attack again. So.
Okay. It's totally up to you.
I am indecisive. Actually, yeah, I'll just. I only have the one, so I think I'll just save the one I have just in case and try to attack the tentacle again.
Yeah, okay. You do that.
Sorry it took me like a full minute to decide that.
That's fine. We need to make these decisions. These are things that need to go, ooh, yes, that's what I want. That's the thing. Alright. So make your
Yeah.
attack.
Plus, it's also me sort of like being in the mindset of how I play Final Fantasy games, of just like, oh gosh, limited supplies, also attacker. Uh, yeah. And 7.
Seven.
I think that was roll 20 telling me I should have healed Reno.
That's fine. And Malcolm, what do you do?
I'm gonna whip the whip, or at least attempt to.
Go for it.
Do I hit?
9! Yes! You hit. So, what is your damage?
I think I'm gonna keep the 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is 16 damage.
Okay, so I need to minus that, but then take into account its armor, which is that. Oh god, what did I do? Okay, so I'm just gonna do this all again. So you took 22 from the bomb, and you just took 16 from that, but then we take into account its armor. Okay, so as your whip makes contact, you feel you make a good solid contact with the tentacle, but you are fairly certain that it, like, you've just seen a magical attack go off, and that looked like it did a lot of damage. Like, it went through, all the damage affected it. Your whip physically making contact with it, you see the tentacle, like the sinew and the muscles on it, they kind of like tense, and it almost feels as if most of your physical force did not go through. So your attack was maybe only half as effective as you felt like it should have been.
You know, that is half more effective as last turn, so I think we are moving up.
Yeah!
We're moving up.
Slow and steady improvements. Okay, so
There's a net positive.
what we are going to do is the octopus is gonna look at Malcolm, and it's not happy that you hit it. It is not happy at all. So you see, I don't know if octopuses can make noises, but it makes the equivalent of, like clearing its throat. It makes this horrible noise, and it spits.
I mean, are we basically fighting Ultros?
Basically.
Okay, yeah.
Except not quite as goofy, because I haven't decided to give this thing a personality yet.
Aww.
When I do, it will be goofy. But right now, it's kind of just generic nastiness. So, it is trying to hit
It's
with...
Ultros' more serious brother.
Does an 8 hit you?
Me?
Yes.
It sure does. Yes.
Okay, so this doesn't inflict any damage, but you are covered in this horrible black inky spray. It's all up in your eyes, and you are now afflicted with blindness.
Oh, okay.
So if we go and look at
It's not the first time this has happened.
Yeah, something spits at you, gets in your eyes, you don't really know what's going on. You just try your best. So basically, when you make physical attacks, or when you make attack rolls, you can only roll 1 die.
Okay.
Oh no.
And then the tentacles. What are they going to do? Yeah, okay, so then each tentacle, one is going to try and whack Lilith, one is going to try and whack Malcolm. So, tentacle, slap. That is 4. Does a 7 hit you, Lilith? 7 doesn't hit. Yeah, heavy armor. Nice. And then Malcolm, tentacle go to
Wait,
whack.
7 or 6? Did you say?
I said 7.
Oh, I heard 6. 7 would hit.
Okay, well, let me just check for Malcolm. For Malcolm, does a 6 hit you?
Oh, it doesn't.
So 6 doesn't hit you.
Hey, Bardic, I think I made a mistake.
You did?
A 6 does not. A 6 does not hit me.
Okay. What mistake did you think you made, Rain? Ugh, words.
So would my magic armor apply to my own spell?
It would, yes. So are you still
Okay,
standing?
I have magic armor 6.
So
Yeah, I'm still standing. I got 6 hit points left.
This is fine. Okay, so in that case, Malcolm, this tentacle does not hit you, but Lilith, it will hit you. So it's going to deal 12 plus the 4, so 16 damage to Lilith. And that is all of its turns. So in that case, Raiko is going to heal you all again. So for 28, you all get healed. Raiko is a machine.
Okay.
And
I was just about to calculate how much HP I lost, but it doesn't matter now, I guess.
you are lucky. And I should really keep track of Raiko's MP. How many times can Raiko do that? Okay, so Raiko can do that like 3 more times, by the looks of it, I think. No, that doesn't sound right. Okay, so there's 7 MP a pop. How do you calculate MP? That'd be a good thing. I should know how this game works.
I mean, we haven't played it in over a month.
This is true. I should not be harsh on myself. Where's my sample character sheet? Not in here, apparently. So it will be on here. MP, okay, so mind plus job bonus times level. Okay, so mind is 10, job bonus is... Thank God it's actually really easy to figure out. So 16 times by level. Okay. So Raiko can actually only do that 1 more time. You are in danger. Why did I make this so hard? What did I do? Okay. That's fine. This is fine. It is, however, it's all of your turns. So, what would you like to do?
Given the ineffectiveness of the whip, I'm going to start preparing a fire spell
Yes, that would be a smart
aimed
decision.
at its face.
Aiming at the big boy. The big boy.
Yep, this guy.
Alrighty, perfect. Reno, Lilith, what are you two doing?
I'm going to prep another goblin bomb. And this one I'm going to aim at the face as well.
Okay. And Lilith, what are you doing?
Lilith might not be back yet.
How did Lilith disappear? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm astounded at how dangerous I made this thing. Wow. That's a yikes.
Did you balance it for one more person?
I probably did, and that would be why. Okay, you know what? It's fine. I have a plan. Raiko, instead of prepping another cure spell, Raiko's going to have a big brain idea. And let me double check something, because I do not think this is a slow action to do. But it might be. So yeah, it's that. Okay, no, it is a slow action. Okay. So Raiko, instead of moving their hands to cast, they seem to be doing something a little bit different. They kind of hold their hands together. And who currently has Bismarck's whale whistle ocarina thing?
I thought we gave it to Lilith.
Yeah, okay. So in that case...
Uh-oh.
Ooh. What do we do? Okay. I'm sure ATB will return in a minute and let us know what's going on. But in that case, I will just continue until I am informed otherwise. So Raiko is gonna just step over to Lilith and be like, "Hi, excuse me. I'm just gonna..." Takes the ocarina and is basically gonna start playing a very intricate whale song on the ocarina, and that is what Raiko is going to be doing. Her thing to go next turn. Lilith / ATB has returned, maybe? She is still muted. So just going to vamp for a moment whilst I check a thing that is going on, because I have just been sent a message about a thing.
Didn't know you could send people massages.
You can. Vamping and filling time. Bum, 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 bum. Come on, phone. What are you doing? Phone, load. Come on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so ATB is just dealing with some IRL stuff, and we'll be back momentarily. So whilst we await for that, how's everybody doing?
You just assume that she deals 12 damage.
Yeah. We're just gonna assume that Lilith crits and insta kills the tentacle monster. Yeah, let's do that.
And harvests all of its organs.
Yes.
I don't know why I added that. I don't know what just happened, but somebody started their car, and for some reason, everything on my computer lagged for a moment.
What? What?
I don't know. Do we live with an international spy that has a high-tech car?
I just find that amusing. Obviously, we know that's coincidence, right? You know, their car should have had no effect on your computer, but it's like, how did that happen? Why did this happen? What?
Why is my life like this?
I don't know. Life is strange, man. Life is friggin' strange.
Here, it's a great game, though.
Are we talking about the board game, or is there a different game?
There's a game that is literally called Life is Strange. There's actually two of them. There's Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2.
I have never heard of these.
They're really pretty good. Yeah.
Aha! She has returned? Or just unmuted herself
I
momentarily?
have returned.
Huzzah!
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Real life is a thing.
Don't scream.
Alright. So, we checked the maths. Raiko can only heal you all one more time.
Oh no.
So instead, Raiko has taken the Bismarck whistle and is working on that. So next turn, you're going to have a big whale. What is Lilith doing?
Okay. It just reminded me we didn't really mention like who would pick the Bismarck whistle.
I thought we gave it to you.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Continuity is not super important here. So we just
I
said
mean, we
that.
could always say that Lilith tossed it over to Raiko.
Yeah. Well, we
In
just said.
Final Fantasy terms, we just switched inventory.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an open inventory. Everyone's got it if they want it. So
We all just whoever has it, they toss it to the one who wants to use it,
exactly. There we
and
go.
it's fine.
And you know what? We can say that's like a free action now. That's an instant action to just toss inventory around. So,
Yeah.
Lilith, what would you like to do?
I want to stab something, preferably the tentacle.
So you're gonna
If
try
the dice will let me.
you're gonna try and stab the tentacle
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably would have seen when Malcolm struck this thing that physical attacks aren't super effective against this. Is there an ability or anything you want to try out? Something that could maybe assist?
I got the dark side ability, but the thing is, for like dark side, I know it mentions like it deals shadow damage instead of its normal type and has its damage increased by an additional 3 steps, but I have no idea what it means by that.
Okay, so a step is basically the multiplication factor you do. So right now, your weapon, when you deal damage, you do like power times 1, right?
Yeah.
So to increase that by 3
So-
steps, that takes it up to power times 4.
Oh.
One
Okay.
step would be to 2, 2 would be to 3.
So.
So, yeah, let me just read that. So, as an instant action, you do that. Yep, increase by... So, yeah, that is your big boy attack. However, you do lose 25% of your maximum hit points.
Oof.
Even if it like misses.
I don't think it says
Oh.
it if you miss. After the attack resolves.
Okay.
Oh, no, it says right
But it's
after.
like
Whether
after
it
it
deals damage or
resolves,
misses.
you
Okay. So I lied. Yes. So you take the cost even if you miss.
Mm-hmm. Although, couldn't I possibly use one of the destinies to help me get a better chance at not missing, or...
Use one of the what, sorry?
use like one of the destiny points for like increasing the chance of not missing? Or am I
yes.
forget.
You all do have one destiny point. So you could use your 1 destiny point that you currently have to roll 3d6 instead of 2d6.
Mm. You know what? I have two because I also got a catchphrase. Also, ow, my tongue. I sneezed and I bit down on my tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's going to hell.
Yeah, of course, you'll have one for you. So yes, you could do that. You definitely could do that if you wanted to.
Okay. So, don't mind me, I'm gonna just make this as edgy and as possible while explaining Curtis.
Go for it.
So, I only imagine just using like the 1 destiny point to get 3d6. But Lilith just sort of looks at her sword and just holds it up like in the stereotypical like way of just like it's like dividing half of the face.
Mm-hmm.
And she just focuses, and this dark energy sort of like starts to cover the entire sword as she mumbles to herself, "I am the darkness that shrouds her light." And then she goes to strike at the tentacle again, using the ability of Dark Side.
Okay.
And as I like to call it, pure edge in anime.
Okay, go for it. So that is a 13 to hit. That hits. So now your damage is power times 4. And you know what? You can keep that that 11 to add to it as well.
Oh. Okay, so power times 4.
Mm-hmm.
28 plus 11. So that would be 39 damage on this one tentacle.
Okay, so minus 39, and then add back in its armor. With that one powerful blow, you carve a nice sizable chunk into this tentacle. You are fairly certain that if you could hit that hard again, this tentacle would be down. Like, it would just drop. But obviously that came at the cost of 1/4 of your health.
So... Oh jeez, what is... So that would be... I'm trying to do maths while also trying to be like...
Edgy. Okay, so what's your maximum health?
25.
Okay, so 1/4 of that, so divided by 2 would be 12.5, so round it down to 12, 6. So it costs 6 health.
Okay, so I'm at 6 health, or it costs 6 health?
You lose 6.
It costs 6.
Okay. That's
There you
not so
go.
bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's pretty easy going. Alright.
Maybe it's like in Shadow of the Colossus or something, where like the dark energy just turns into tendrils and just stabs into Lilith.
Okay.
It's sort of like, hey, this is the price you gotta pay.
So, the Kracken, the octopus eye patch monster didn't like that, and it is going to take a look at you, Lilith, and it kind of does that like horrible noise again, except this time, instead of shooting a horrible blob of ink, it is instead hocking a water shot at you. Does a number. Oh god, why can't I count? I'm literally adding 3 to numbers and I just can't. So that's 8. So 11. Does 11 hit you?
Yes. Although she also has the water resistant bangle too, which I feel we also didn't go over how that would work.
If I said it grants resistance, it just means you take half damage from water attacks.
Okay.
So, that is going to deal, so that's 11, so adds 12 onto that, so that's going to deal 23, you only take half, so you take 11 damage.
Oh. Okay.
As this water hits you, the bangle, or whatever you want it to look like, because it, you know, it's Final Fantasy rules, so whatever you want this to look like, you know, a toe ring, a piercing, an eye patch, a shield, a ring, a big pair of wings. Like, I don't know. Whatever you want this accessory to look like, it looks like that. They're going to glow a light cerulean blue as the water hits you, and you go, that only hurt half as much as it should have done. Wow. How convenient.
How convenient. She still looks like she is. She's taking a beating, though.
Okay.
Like, it didn't hurt as bad, but she still looks like she's taking a beating.
Okay. So, now... Let me just check how one of these things works. Okay. Reno is going to be very happy at something that is about to happen. But also probably quite scared. Oh, no, I lie. Reno's going to be happy. Malcolm's going to be quite scared. The tentacle that is in front of you, Malcolm, it's not happy with what's going on. And you see it it starts to like quiver and pulsate right before it explodes. The tentacle just explodes on you. It is casting self-destruct.
Yay!
Yay!
So,
Yay!
so it deals 25% of its maximum hit points. So maximum hit points is, so that does 15 damage.
Is that affected by my armor?
Rips through for a number of points of M-arm fire damage equal to 20. Okay, hang on. Let me do maths here. So, the caster instantly converts a life force into explosive energy, creating a cataclysmic blast that rips through the enemy for a number of points of M-arm fire damage equal. So, you can use M-arm to reduce that, yes. This is magic explosions.
Okay. So, I only take 11 damage.
And, it dead. It exploded itself. It got mad and blew up. Hey Reno, did you just learn a new spell?
And catalogs how it did that.
Reno learned a new spell.
Oh no!
Reno can now deliberately blow herself up.
And then the other tentacle. You know what? I'm gonna keep on this path. The other tentacle is gonna make. I don't know how it does this, but it's gonna make eyes at Reno. And it is not going to explode. However, what it does do is it looks at you maliciously, as if to say, I can't believe you hurt me. Now I'm going to hurt you. And it is going to cast Revenge. So, the way this works, for every 2 points of damage it has taken, it deals 1 point of damage back. This is not reduced by M-arm or shell, so it is going to deal 15 points of damage to Reno, who can also now learn how to cast Revenge.
Sorry, Reno. Silver lining.
I love the idea that if my bomb blows up in my face, I'll just blame whatever I was aiming at.
Well, the best part
It's your fault.
The best part is, from now on, if you blow up, you can go, wait, I can now deal more damage.
So that, you said 15?
Yes, and it is not, you cannot reduce it with M-arm or shell.
Okay.
And now it goes back to all of you.
I keep forgetting that like you can that is a thing. Like you can reduce the damage with like arm and arm. So I feel like the health stat I currently have as Lilith is way off.
Maybe. I mean, remember,
Maybe.
arm and M-arm, they're like static, they're standard, so every attack is reduced by that. So whatever damage I say to you, it just gets adjusted.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to do stuff first, or do you want Bismarck to show up before any of you do stuff?
Sorry.
Okay, either way.
I'm excited to see the whale.
We let the whale come.
It's a whale!
It's a whale!
Hi, guys.
It's like the space whale from the game Off, only we don't kill it.
Doodly doodly doo. I need to quickly mark down. Where is the thing I am looking for? As for abilities, that is the correct one. Wait, no, hang on. Okay, how does...
If we
Bismarck is
ride
the final summon.
Pardon?
if we ride Bismarck to fight Sin, is that whale-to-whale combat?
Yeah.
Whale
Yes.
on whale violence.
Yes. Also, I hope we are able to do that. I hope that we decide in the future to do that.
Oh.
Can we invest in armor for Bismarck? Can we like give him a horn so he can ram into things?
I mean, probably. Okay, so... There's hit points of that. Bismarck
I wonder if we
does
get
not...
Bismarck rockets.
I mean, Bismarck has basically replaced Raikou, because that's how summoning works. And also, Bismarck doesn't need MP to cast spells, so you're very fortunate there. Because what spells can Bismarck cast? Water and Varks. Damn, I hoped you could cast Shell. I mean, I think your other thing can do that.
I think can't Carbuncle do that?
Carbuncle can cast Reflect.
No.
Yeah, the Astral Flow casts that. Okay, no, but Bismarck has some other cool stuff he can do. So, oh wow. Oh wow. No, that's gonna do it. Okay. So, Bismarck has two things he can do here. So we get to decide. Is Bismarck just going to go and body slam into someone? Or is Bismarck going to blast a giant geyser of water at someone? And in doing so, they lose 50% of their maximum hit points.
I like that one.
Geyser?
Yeah, I like to lose 50% of your hit points one.
Okay.
Geyser and then maybe later body slam.
Who drew on Bismarck? The worst part is if I move it, it doesn't go with him. Okay.
Bismarck. Right now.
Can I select all of Bismarck to move together? Yes. Okay, so Bismarck is going to dive under here. And I need to check.
Oh, no!
I need to check. So it just says Bismarck dives underneath the surface, gathering water in his great mouth. The ground beneath the target ripples as the whale surfaces underneath it. Blowhole situated beneath the target's feet. With a mighty blow, Bismarck fires up a stream of water at the foe, sending them flying into the air with a medium-range knockback. As always, targets without flight or immunity to falling damage lose 50% of their maximum HP when they re-collide with the ground. It doesn't mean, I might need to double check how a knockback thing works, but it doesn't say like you need to roll this or you need to do that. I don't know if that's just like that thing happens. I don't think that'd be really powerful. Like you can two-shot everything that doesn't have immunity to fall damage.
I don't have to. I don't have to roll to hit on my spells.
No, spells usually don't. So I'm just double checking. I think with knockback, there's what would that come under? Here we go. Knockbacks and aerial combat. Oh god, there we go. So they can knock back. They can use that to cancel slow actions. This does not count as large, so it's not immune to it. Even though it's big, it doesn't have the ability large for reasons. Okay, yeah, there is no roll. Bismarck just yeets this person up into the air. Okay. So, Bismarck is just gonna yeet big Kracken into the air. And it crashes back into the water. And what are you adding to Bismarck?
He has a cannon now!
He's very angry.
He's hydro pump.
Yeah, Bismarck... Well, actually, I suppose Bismarck used water spout. And you just halved this enemy's attack. And I see someone's about to say, You're going to say yeeted or yoked? Yeeted.
Jotun?
Get yeeted. So, okay.
Get fucked!
So, yeah, that worked. So this very hard combat encounter, turns out, has an easy win button. And the answer was a whale.
The answer
A
is
lot of life's lessons can be.
The answer is always a whale.
Okay. So that's that. The rest of you. So I believe you had Goblin Bomb and a fire spell ready.
Yep.
Where are you firing them? Are you firing them at the tentacle or at the main?
At the base.
At the face?
At the base.
Okay, how much damage do they do?
Oh gosh, that is a lot of math.
It's another 22 damage. Let's see if it hits me. Well, thank God it does not hit me.
Okay.
I do 27 damage.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, this thing's still alive, but it is incredibly beaten up. Like, this thing looks like it barely has 1/10 of the, fortitude it had one turn ago. And bear in mind, you hadn't hit it yet. Wow. You have also very quickly discovered this thing has no resistance to magic. No resistance to magic. So, Lilith, what do you do? You're the only one left.
Well, those were just the tops of our turns. We haven't actually taken our turns yet.
Yes, sorry, I'm being a terrible GM. Yes, what else do you do?
Back it up.
I am very intimidating because I can't actually attack because I'm blinded.
You look intimidating. You go, grrr.
Yeah, no, I like down on my whip, and it's both very sensual and intimidating.
I'm
Sense.
into it. I am into this. So Is that an actual mechanical thing, or is that just Malcolm be like?
Oh, no. That's just what I'm doing.
Look, that
I
just
don't
as
have any
important.
other actions I can do.
That is just. I mean, you can start casting a spell for next turn if you don't want to fight.
I can, but I'm. Yeah, I'll start casting a fire spell. That's right. I can do that.
Okay.
I have a
Just
question.
in case.
Yes.
In Final Fantasy, there's no kill like overkill.
How big was that destruction sphere from the temple?
Big enough to fill the palm of your hand.
Excellent. Wonder if I can put that in my gun.
Oh. God.
Not like fire it, but like have it be a part of my gun and give my gun a benefit.
That is definitely something that could happen. I would have to look into it.
Probably requires synthesis.
Yes, in fact, there's a whole thing for that, so I could look into that. I believe, is it in the GM notes section where there's a whole thing on rewards, and there's like, yeah, you can just pull things out of. Like, I really enjoy this kind of stupid stuff. Okay, so it's not in there. So yeah, no, there's a separate tab, rewards. So basically, there's this whole like sub rule for components, which is literally exactly what you just described. So you get different components. So for example, the glass whale that Lilith found last time, that can be used and you can add that in. So if I was to look through this and find what destruction component would be, what possible ability you could imbue into your weapon in the future.
Because I just noticed that I have both the fish stone and the destruction sphere from the temple.
Okay, so let's see if there's... Okay, so there's not a destruction component. Is there an explosion component?
I mean, I can look through the...
First?
Yeah, actually, you know what? If you look through the rewards tab on the Google sheet and see if there's one that you like, oh yeah, that I think that works. Feel free to ignore the tier stuff on it for now, because if you want it to be the most powerful thing out there, then that just means you'll have to roll really high on a synthesis check to do anything with it.
Don't think I have a link to the Google sheet.
Okay, I should pop that in there then.
Oh my. I'll be right back.
This keeps happening right before you're about to take your turn.
I'm going to put that link on my character sheet so I can find it again.
Okay, so once again, well, you know what? This is perfect timing. We can sit here and we can figure this out while we wait for ATB, who's dealing with a phone call, apparently. So, adamantine, ancient... I think it's a berry. No. Crystal? Maybe? Crystal could be a thing. It's a shame there's not just one that says explosion.
So I'm looking at components, you said?
Yeah, if you go over to the rewards tab, there should be just like a whole thing on components. And I'm just trying to look and see what looks good. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I guess technically gem would work, because these are like gemstone type things, so gem would be appropriate. But I don't think that you're particularly interested in that. Diamond, probably not. Everything okay?
Yeah. Just random call that I had to take.
Not a problem. We were just looking at components whilst we were waiting, because I think we keep getting distracted right before you're about to take your turn, and then you get distracted by real life nonsense. So, look, what does Lilith do this turn?
What was Lilith gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna see that her two companions got things handled, and she's just gonna look over at the tentacles she stabbed, like, seem hurt. Allow me to put you out of your misery. And I say that without rolling first, and I'm gonna just miss.
I mean,
Or not!
okay, so here's something which we've really not been making use of for you. Your weapon, right? It's a bladed weapon. I mean, you've hit there. But once per combat, you can re-roll and take whichever roll you want. So do you want to try and re-roll to see if you can get a crit? Because this is probably going to be the end of combat.
Oh, okay.
Like, if this doesn't... Like,
Okay.
this combat is going to be over next turn at the latest, because Bismarck can kill this thing no problem. So you can either re-roll now, or you can do that next turn to try and get a crit. It's up to you.
I'll try it now. Yeah, just take the 12.
And are you still dark-siding?
Yes. I got 8 HP left right now, so...
I mean, bear in mind, you know that this thing has a monstrously high armor. Just for reference, this thing has an armor of 8.
Yeah, so, you know... Also, I assume Raiko has... Did Raiko use up the healing yet, or...?
Raiko is currently a whale.
Yeah, Raiko is a whale. You know what? I'll risk it just to see if we can take out this tentacle here.
Yeah.
So
That
it would
is
be
power times 4 plus 10. Do you want to use that initial one?
10. Yeah. So that would be a 38.
38 is... Okay.
Yep.
You're going to think I'm lying, but I promise you I'm not. So I'm going to zoom on in as much as I can on the Roll20 sheet. If you look on the stream right now, you will see that this thing has 30 hit points left. And I just said it has an armor of 8.
Oh.
So you deal exactly the right amount to destroy it.
Oh, dang.
So I didn't even lie.
So then
We all
So
mysteriously hear the music of dun 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 dun.
It still
it
gets
really
one
is
more
like
turn.
Shadow of the Colossus, where you take down this.
The main Kraken still has one more turn, but I
And
don't
it
think
really
it
is
can...
Shadow of the Colossus, where you take down this giant thing, and then black tendrils start stabbing you.
So you just cut this tentacle. Like, describe how you finish this. So obviously your dark-siding sword is all shadowy and dark-looking. What do you do? Do you do like full anime where like no one knows what's happening? You sheath your sword and then a cut appears across it and it just falls apart, or are you gonna like do extreme over the top like Scream and Berserk anime-esque and like you see yourself cutting through it? How do you destroy this tentacle? Please be as anime as you want.
You know what? I'm going to combine the two. And Lilith just screams as she just jumps in the air and her sword and just swings her sword at the tentacle. She lands and she jumps in a way where like she lands back on the ship. And then she just slowly heats her blade. And then the tentacle just sort of falls apart because it was just sliced in half. Like diagonally.
Nice. Okay, so the Kraken has one turn left, because next turn, regardless of what happens, Bismarck can kill it because it can do that apparently.
It's dead.
Actually, I lied. Oh no, because Bismarck can still actually counter that. Okay, yeah, it's just gonna try and slap Bismarck. It's gonna try. It does hit Bismarck. So Bismarck does take a big chunk of damage.
No.
So this octopus and the whale are battling. They're going rawr, rawr, rawr. It's very impressive. Who wants? Well, how do you want to do this? Because you know Bismarck can finish this thing. You know it is reduced to like 1/10 of its hit points. Whatever attack hits it is going to finish it. Who gave Bismarck a gun?
Wait. Bismarck has a gun.
So, who wants to get the final
Okay, so
blow?
I gave the horn and a cannon. I don't know who gave the missile launchers and the gun.
I can let my fire spell loose.
Rest it.
So,
Make it all roasty toasty.
actually,
Calamari.
I have two options here. Either we can get into an argument and be like, no, I want the final hit. Or we know you're going to kill this thing, so it can be considered like a big, epic anime group attack where Bismarck blasts this thing into the air, it's set on fire, and a goblin bomb is yeeted at it, whilst Lilith, I don't know, laughs at it. Or Lilith can run up and try and stab it as well. It's entirely up to you
Lilith
all.
throws her sword like a boomerang.
What we could do is we can combine them all with. We could have Bismarck toss them into the air.
Mm-hmm.
Have Malcolm throw the fire. The fire explodes and sends Lilith into the air. I throw my goblin bomb, which explodes and sends Lilith higher into the air so that she comes down on the Kraken.
And just sends the slice downward with the sword.
Then
That's about as
double
anime
tap with
as
his
you can
rock.
get.
That is
Then
anime.
insert someone. Wait, someone has to insert a speech about the power of friendship and whatnot in order to just be complete anime.
Well,
My darkness and edges powered by friendship.
okay, so as this is happening, you know, Bismarck like submerges underneath, and you just hear this, which in whale translates to, "You thought you could defeat us, but the power of friendship is stronger than the power of evil. Our friendship is powerful, and our friendship is what will win. Friendship." But all you actually hear is.
Some part in the back of Reno's mind is like, but we just met you.
What do you say about Jimmy's trapped in the well?
Okay. So that is the end of the combat. That was a notorious enemy. So for defeating a notorious enemy, you all get a point of destiny. And that also gets you all the final experience point you need to level up. So you are all now level 2.
Woo!
And this is probably a perfect place to go and take a quick 5-minute break. Before we do that, if anybody has the scavenge skill, you can probably try and scavenge and see if you can find any components from this big spooky monster. Is there a tentacle component? Because I hope there is.
There is.
There is?
Oh, bye.
I see.
There is.
I see tainted. I see tears.
It's
Or is it something / tentacle? And that's why I've missed it.
yeah, it's something / tentacle.
Okay, so I will look and I will. There's needle.
Yeah, it's a poison tentacle.
That's it. Yeah, poison/tentacle.
Poisons.
Okay. So yeah, see if anybody
So-
can scavenge and get a tentacle from this thing to add to maybe mess around. So does anybody have the scavenge skill to try?
I do not know.
I do not. I'm also jamming to the victory music.
I mean, that's okay.
Always having YouTube on the side.
I don't think anyone is super fussed about getting poison touch on one of their weapons, so I think we'll survive without it.
Out of curiosity, when you pick something, do you pick one trait from that, or does it get all of the traits?
You pick one of those traits. So it's like,
Okay.
So for example, if you got one of these tentacles, when you go to synthesize your weapon, the way a component works is it basically that acts for, I believe, 50% of the cost it would take to make it. So, say if you wanted to synthesize like a rank 2 weapon, and that has a cost of like 100 gil or 1,000 gil, whatever it is, I don't know the numbers. Using a component acts as 50% of the cost, or it might actually even be like 100%. I will need to go and double check. But basically it means you can only do it once. However, if you're just paying, you can, if you don't roll it, well, I can pay again and try again. So it's like high risk, high reward. So you can just do it, but you also then fail and then might not be able to get it. You are also limited to the abilities it states there. So if you were just going straight up, I'm building my weapon, you just slap down the cash and you build it however you want. This is very much you make the weapons that you have access to, but it doesn't cost you any money, or it costs you much less money. So that's how that works. Oh.
So we had. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you about to say?
We had one destiny from. Did we get it from the temple?
You had one destiny
You gained
for starting the game.
From Bismarck.
Yeah. So let me think. You had one destiny.
Then I
for-
had one destiny for a catchphrase.
Yeah. So that's the one for starting. So one for a catchphrase. You got one destiny for doing a big dramatic thing, which was stealing Parump's boat, because that was a big dramatic thing I had not planned for. One destiny for befriending Bismarck, and this is your 4th destiny point you've been granted for defeating a notorious enemy.
Oh, okay. So technically, I now have 3 destiny because of the one I used in battle.
You do. And I know that is important to
Yeah.
Rain, because I know what Rain is going to do with this level up.
I'm gonna look at level up first.
I have yeah, well, for level up.
Where in the book does it talk about leveling up? Because I have no idea what to do.
Yeah. Alright, well, you know what? How about we throw over to the break screen. We take a quick 5 minutes, go grab a drink, go to the bathroom, all of that. Then when we get back, we'll talk the level up through.
Okay.
Does that sound good to everybody?
So
As well, in the book, I think level progression is quite early on in the book. I think it's like very high up. But I've got all the information on that. So I'm going to throw us on a we'll be right back screen. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. And see you all real soon. Bye. So, we are back from the little break. And people are figuring out their level ups. Thankfully, level ups are not the most complicated thing in the world in this, I believe. But it's been a long time since I've done one. So...
I think it's on page 126 or something. It talks it out really easily.
Yeah.
126.
So, I'll actually open the real PDF instead of using my Google Sheet.
How to go
No, it's not 126. Sorry.
That one.
Is it 136? I could just look at the table of contents. That's a thing I could do.
Yeah, Control F.
163. That's the page.
Okay.
I knew there was 1s and 6s involved, and you know.
No, it was 3 numbers between 0 and 9.
Yeah.
You were totally there. Okay, so yeah, that explains the level up. Okay, so let's actually read this out loud. So, upon getting a level, you gain the following bonuses. You gain attribute points if the new level is odd. It's not. We are level 2 now. The character gets 1 point to put in any of the 4 attributes, so power, res, dex, or mind. That is not important here because if the new level is even, level 4 or 12 or 2, you gain 2 ability points instead. So you get to put these in 2 different attributes of your choice. So you can put you get to +1 in 2 attributes. So there's that. So you're going to get stronger or whatever. You also gain 2 new skill points. You can put these wherever you like. You gain a new ability because it's an even level. So you can get that from the job list or from a shared ability list. You also get additional hit points and MP from your job bonus. That should auto figure itself out using the sheets, I think. I could be wrong. And
it auto figured it out for my HP, but not MP.
I think that's because Dark Knight. Oh no, wait, Dark Knights do get magic points, don't they? Okay, well, let's look at how. I mean, I literally had to look this up like a few minutes ago. So MP is mind, MND plus job bonus times level. So your job bonus as a Dark Knight is 2. So your MP is equal to 2. No, is equal to your MND plus 2 times 2. So that's what that is.
The sheet auto calculated mine for me.
It might have just been put in incorrectly somewhere. Yeah, most of it should be automatic, I think. Okay, so that is not the part. Because Rain is... well, Rain is being Rain. And is thinking, hey, you know what I should do?
Being jack of all trades.
Yeah. Be different.
I'm very attacked right now.
No, I like it. I actually like when people go, no, I want to mess with stuff. I want to see how it works. Okay, so...
Okay, so we get 2 attributes.
If there is an actual place to describe it, I know if you look on the shared ability, the Onion Knight, that basically says what it normally costs, I think. Because normally you have to spend like 3 destiny points to change to change jobs.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing if it states anywhere else. Because it might say like right at the first basic description of a job, like, oh yeah. Okay, so there's jobs. So that's like, hey, yeah, jobs. This is how they work. These are the jobs. Is there a part where it says you can change jobs? Not there. So if I just type in.
If you go to page 274, where it actually has the Destiny input for changing jobs, it has the rules there too.
Aha, I knew it'd be somewhere. It's just trying to remember where it mentions things. Are you sure it's 274? That's like
That's
very.
what it says according to my scroll thing. Oh, sorry. No, page 111.
How do you?
I was looking at the
those-
wrong number.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, here's all the Destiny stuff. I knew it would say somewhere. Okay, change jobs. There we go. So, for 3 points, you may become a member of an entirely different job. This is a process that requires careful planning and good decision making on the player's behalf, as it is possible such a change could hurt a character's effectiveness instead of spurring them to greater heights. Who cares about that? We want to have fun. Upon spending Destiny for a job change, an act that may only be performed out of combat, we are out of combat, so that's fine, you recalculate your HP, MP, accuracy, and avoidance to be appropriate for a member of that new job. The innate ability of that job replaces their former innate ability. You do not lose skill points, spells, or their spellcasting ability, or access to abilities they have learned. Whenever they learn a new ability, they only have access to their current job's standard abilities, as well as shared abilities.
So here's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the ability I took from my Blue Mage during character creation, I keep my Blue Mage innate ability and gain the Engineer innate ability.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can continue learning Blue Mage spells.
Because that is the exact ability you took, isn't it? Like,
Yep.
Yeah. So
Not only does the spell not have to be cast on me, I just have to be able to see it, but I can keep learning it after I change jobs.
yeah, you specifically took the one that lets you do that. Observe, because it specifically says that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like ability allows you to keep learning even if you are no longer a Blue Mage. You just went.
That's
Yes.
what started this whole thought process.
And so then,
Let's see.
so then the other thing, which probably isn't super important, but you never lose access to weapon types. The list of armor they're proficient with is dependent on the new job. So a samurai who becomes a black mage would still be able to wield blade type weapons, but would only be able to equip light armor like a black mage, not armor like a samurai. But that doesn't matter because what is the... Yeah, so Blue Mage, you only had light armor, so that doesn't matter, and Engineer can wear heavy armor. But you can now equip basically every single weapon type? Yeah, you can have Arcane Blade, Concealed, Brawl, Huge, and Ranged. The only weapon types you do not have access to are Reach and Dual Wield, I think? Wow. You can literally equip, like, every weapon. That's ridiculous. Okay.
Food. I apologize. Food may have arrived
That
for
is
me. So
absolutely fine.
yeah,
Do not
that's
worry about
okay.
that. Okay. So, now we have seemingly figured all of that out. Who wants to try and explain how their level up has gone? If
I'm
anybody's
still
actually-
working on mine.
Still working on it?
Lilith now has 52 HP and 14 MP. I
Mhm.
just put one of the attribute points into power and another one into mind to just improve on like mind a bit. And yeah. Currently I'm trying to figure out where to put the skill points at though.
So, increasing your power and mind, has that had any effect on your finesse and force scores?
Yeah, finesse is now at 3 and force is now at 3.75.
Okay. These are they're always rounds down, I think.
So both.
So, With your
Yeah,
finesse,
so both are 3.
with your finesse going up, I believe that now means that you can have a higher max in your skills. Yeah. Before you were limited, because you're limited in your how many skill points you can have in something by finesse +1. So now you can have up to 4 skill points in any skill. If your finesse has increased, which is very useful. And then the other thing, what new ability have you taken on?
I am not sure yet. I still need to look at that.
It's absolutely okay. Nah, how far are you into your level up?
I believe I'm done. So I'm still a red mage. I put my attribute points in Dex and Mind, because I don't use the other two for anything. 38 hit points, 24 MP. I put my skill points in awareness and vehicle, so I can drive the boat now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ability I took was Defy Gravity, so now I can run up vertical surfaces and shit, and I don't take any fall damage ever.
Which is quite amusing because we were literally in a fight which you won because of fall damage.
Right, yeah. And then the spell I took was the white magic spell Ruse, which gives me an addition to my avoidance.
That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, let me just have a looky-loo. Yeah, there's so many things that I just do not ever remember these. So yeah, it's literally. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just increase avoidance. That's really cool. Oh wow! And if you're at less than 50%, it gives you a +4. Wow. That's actually a really good low-level spell.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, that is your level up entirely completed. Very well done. Reno, how is yours going along since you're having to redo everything?
Yeah. I am copying down my innate ability now.
Mm-hmm. Which, as an engineer,
It's not going to let me copy and paste.
What is your new innate ability as an engineer? What can you do now?
I can invent things. Sorry, let me just. There's the book. Standard action, you may grant 2 bonus weapon properties to any weapon or piece of armor an ally has equipped. First one of these properties must be explosive, and the second property may be any of the following: Alchemist, Auto Flight, Auto Protect, Auto Shell, Element Enhancer, Element Strike, Element Ward, Skill bonus of the Engineer's choice, Therapeutic, which Therapeutic and Explosive is funny as hell, SOS Invisible, Glowing, and with very explicit GM permission on a case-by-case basis, a special ability. Event may only grant bonuses to one piece of equipment at a time, and the effects have a 25% chance to end at the end of said ally's turn. Each weapon property other than explosive may only be applied one time per game session, meaning you could only grant +2 bonus to the roll via skill bonus once, not once for every different type of skill. This might be very bad news for the individual using his newly converted autoflight equipment to soar through the clouds, or when an ally's cloaking device starts fizzing right as they start sneaking through enemy lines. Weapon properties are discussed more, blah, 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 on another page.
Okay. So, I think we should talk about those
And
weapon
I don't know what
properties.
my level up will be.
yeah, you need to. You've got to look for all that. So, what we can do, we can talk about those weapon properties. We're going to specifically talk about explosive, because you have to put explosive on things. So, do you know what explosive does as a weapon property? 'Cause...
Nope.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so explosive is a property that can be put on a weapon, it can be put on armor, and it can be put on a consumable. So you can essentially get like a potion or a rock or whatever and make it explosive. So, when destroyed, in the case of a consumable item thrown, deals the user's power times the item tier plus 2d6 of fire or non-elemental damage, whichever is more effective, in a local area. So, you basically make everybody's weapon a bomb. Or you make their armor a bomb. Meaning that if their armor or weapon gets damaged, it explodes.
Sounds about Reno.
It's so Reno. It's so good. Then all the other ones are pretty self-explanatory. You know, you can fly, you can do whatever, you can do this. I mean, what does Alchemist do? Alchemist improves the healing capacity of any item as if it was 2 tiers higher. So, yes. So an item that would normally restore 25% restores 50%, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. Which is then also really weird, because it's explosive. So you make an explosive potion?
I mean, those exist.
Although,
Okay.
alchemy can only put on weapons. So I guess that means like, oh, you're holding the weapon, so... Oh, I suppose that you would tie alchemy in with like an MP drain or something, maybe? I'm not sure. I'd have to double check.
Engineer has a lot of really cool abilities.
Oh, it does. Engineer is a lot of fun.
Also, I got my stuff figured out now.
Okay. What ability have you decided to take on?
I decided to get Night Sword, which honestly, I didn't even plan for it, but it fits with like the nighttime aesthetic of Lilith's current weapon. So basically, after you activating this as an instant action once per combat, the weapon gains the HP drain, lucky, and zombie touch properties. So, if I understand correctly, that means that some damage is given back to Lilith, I believe. I would
One more.
have to reread that.
Okay, yeah, there.
And also, the weapon.
No, sorry, I was. You keep
Arctic,
going.
did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. That was just a little blip.
Oh.
I was just finding a thing so I could explain how it works when you finish talking.
Okay. Okay. And I was also going to say, also while Night Sword is activated, it can also attack enemies long range.
Which is really
I don't know how that works.
Basically, it just means...
I don't know how that works exactly, but it sounds cool.
So, power of anime, basically. So, however you envision that, you know, either some big, spooky, black tendril flies out, or, you know, it's like a ghost sword, so you just slash and it hits them all the way over there. However you want it to, really. It's entirely in your hands. Now, obviously, you can only use that once per combat. But, so, let's...
It's still pretty cool.
So, HP Drain, Lucky, and Zombie Touch are the 3 properties it grants you for 1 attack. So let's find that universal, not university. So HP drain. So that means you recover 50% of the damage you deal to them. So, yeah, you just go thwip, and half the damage you deal to them, you recover. If a foe is reduced to 0 HP, 90% of the target's remaining health. Okay. So there's that. Lucky. Lucky, I think, is fairly simple. I think it just increases your crit chance, but we will double check it. Lucky. Increase critical range by 1. So meaning you crit on an 11 with that attack. And then the other thing being zombie touch. So it's touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what any of these status touch things do is you can attempt to add the specified negative to the target on a successful weapon attack by choosing to deal 50% damage or by using consumable, yada 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 yada. So, really, it's like, so you deal half damage, and then you roll a force or finesse check, your choice, and they must oppose it.
Mm-hmm.
If you win, you afflict them with zombie for 4 rounds. Now, let's find out what zombie do. Status effects. Zombie. So what that means is all curative spells, effects, and potions are reversed, dealing damage instead of healing it. So you just turn them into a zombie. Go whip, and then you can just throw a potion at them, and then they die.
That's how we see Sin. Turn Sin into a
You turn Sin into a zombie.
I don't know if it's going into spoiler territory, but would Sin count as a zombie?
No, Sin is not technically a zombie. I mean, I think most bosses are immune to statuses, but it is a very amusing concept. As you thwap, Sin turns into a zombie, use a Phoenix down, it dies. That's all you had to do.
Lilith just looks at you, Jessica, like that's all you had to do. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know why you had to keep doing this. It was kind of pointless.
Okay. So.
I mean, you didn't even get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Also, I decided to put her 2 ability points into synthesis of weapons.
Nice. That is probably going to come up and be useful very soon. Okay. So, Rain, how is your level up coming along?
I think I'm done.
Yeah?
I think I calculated everything correctly. I actually didn't have to change very much because, I didn't have to change my force or finesse. I only had to bring my avoidance down by 1. But so I have the invent innate ability and the efficiency ability. As soon as I get back to where the engineer is. Yeah. Efficiency. A character with this ability never takes negative penalties to synthesis checks under any circumstances. In addition, they gain a +2 bonus to scavenge skill checks. And just for fun, with my 2 skill points, I got synthesis and scavenge.
Which synthesis did you specifically go for?
I don't know. I didn't read that far.
You haven't decided yet. Yeah,
Let's try this again.
It's very akin to, like 3.5, how there'd be like knowledge skills or craft skills, and then it'd be like a subsection. So it's basically synthesis and then item.
Like I had a chance to play 3.5.
Yeah, that's me being very like 3.5 is my bread and butter. So I make the mistake of assuming everybody played 3.5.
I have it. I've just never been able to play it.
Oh wow! I mean, it's basically Pathfinder. Pathfinder is basically 3.5. And now you say you never played Pathfinder.
I've played Pathfinder 2e.
Okay, it's not that. So basically, synthesis is
you
like
have many regrets now.
I still haven't played Pathfinder 2e. I've not even had a chance to read it yet, so I don't really have an opinion on it thus far.
I was in a game for Pathfinder, but it's currently on hiatus until further notice, sadly.
Mm. So, the way these things work, because it's the same for like knowledge on this as well. Is that's kind of like the umbrella term, and then you focus. So like you can put points in synthesize, alchemy, armor, cooking, tinkering, or weaponry. Weapons, yeah. So it's like, so which one of those things do you want to specialize in making? So alchemy is how you make consumables. That's making potions or grenades or any such thing. Armor, you make armor. Cooking, you make the food. Tinkering is accessories and other expensive projects such as airships and land vehicles. And then weapons is obviously things that go stab.
Damn, I want more than one of those.
You could go like put into both if you have more skill points to spend. Bear in mind your skills might.
We only get the.
You actually might have more skill points to deal with, because obviously before as a blue mage you had 20, as an engineer you have 25.
Okay, so I have 5 extra skill points to play with.
Sorry, I lied. 26. I can't read from a distance.
I have 6 more skill points to play with.
Plus the 2 you got for leveling up. I think it's 2 you get for leveling up, isn't it?
Okay, so let's do weapons and synthesis tinkering.
How do I just know Reno's going to spend a lot of time now just making stuff? Which is good, because this now gives money a purpose in the game. You just spend all of your money making stuff.
I absolutely love making things.
Synthesis is the mechanic in this game that got me.
And there's an ability invested. That you know I'm going to get.
Which one? Because I still haven't got a lot of these memorized in properly yet. So now I need to go and look and see if I can figure it out.
It's the companion ability that I was going to build and put the destruction orb into.
Yes.
But the main appeal is that I am somebody who is technologically inclined in a world that hates technology.
Yeah, so just all the technology, all of it, all the time, everywhere. Okay, so with all of our level ups sorted and figured out, okay, hang on, computer, come on. It's not letting me move stuff. Don't have crash roll 20. That suck. I'll figure.
Am I still quiet?
There we go. My whole computer just went no.
Don't die.
Um.
Oh,
Okay. So I don't know what just happened, but my computer decided no. Um. I just realized I can't get Reno out. No, not Reno. Raiko, who is underneath
yeah,
all
I
of that.
heard you go now that we got our levels and then.
Now, I need to try and
Oh
put,
yeah, Raiko needs to level up now.
I'll figure out Raiko. That looks about right. Let me just put Bismarck back together. Okay. So all the levels are sorted. We've done all of that. Your ship it's fairly well together. It didn't take too much damage. It's not going to sink or anything like that. How would you like to proceed? Because obviously you were roundabout here. Are you gonna?
We were on our way. We were going to go right down to the bottom to do the pilgrimage, right? We're going to start at the bottom and head up.
Yep. So you want to set course for Besaid. Okay. Well, now. Is that because you can imbue that with some of its optical magic essence to either create something with blind touch, blind heal, spell burst for blank gaze to make something blind proof, or skill bonus awareness. So you can affect visual sight with this Kraken's eye. But you'll have to synthesize something with it. Yes. Yeah. You most definitely can keep hold of that and use it for the future. I think that's going to be really cool. Okay. So now we've got that. So after you pluck this thing's eye out, I then assume you just kind of like kick any remnants of it off of the ship. Just... And, ew. This is not an appealing looking creature, but okay. True. Very true. So, Malcolm. Malcolm, do you want to make use of your somehow, like, divinely crafted new ability to just understand how the boat works? To try and drive the boat? Okay, so 7 is, I think that comes under... What does that come under? Yeah. How hard can it be to drive a boat? Right? 7 is exactly easy. So, create a rudimentary shelter in pocket. Okay, there's lots of people who have boats. It can't be that hard. I believe you most definitely can get the boat going. And you can resume your course. In fact, does anybody have... I need to double check the skills, see if there is like a a navigation or anything like that. I don't think there is, because I think we had this discussion before and there wasn't really one. But that was a month ago, so... Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm going to say of a vehicle, because it is more than literally just driving the vehicle. I think it is, you know how to work the vehicle, and therefore you know how to use the vehicle, so you know how to plot a course. So it's an easy course. You came across the most difficult thing possible out here. So yes, you most definitely can set a path to Besaid. And looking at it, okay, it'll take like maybe 2 days to get to Besaid. So, and yes, the chocobo engines. So you also know that, like, okay, you don't need to be stood here at the helm navigate. Like, so long as you come and check on it every couple of hours and make sure nothing's gone wrong, you can basically point it and go. So you will now have 2 days to just kick back and enjoy quite a leisurely cruise. All of this, I'm just trying to remember how quickly all of this happened. So you did the conflict with, you stole a boat, you got like half a day away, you did the temple, you came back, you fought the Kracken. So it's kind of like late afternoon when you probably get started, or like mid-afternoon. So you can probably go for a little bit, and then I assume you'll set anchor, or maybe you'll take it in shifts to stay awake and keep the boat going. So we'll say nighttime comes, you can all get rested up, but you can just have some real good downtime, and you can get fully recovered for hit points and magic points, because there's beds here, it's very comfortable, you can totally get 100% fully rested up. What would each of you like to do in your downtime for this gap between end of battle into nighttime and then overnight before the next morning? I will start with Reno. Mm-hmm. Let's have a look at what those do. Darkness, so auto blind, blind touch, fiend eater, or death, zombie touch, spellburst death, shadow field, undead slayer, resurrection. I mean, yeah. So in the actual game of Final Fantasy X, the destruction spears, they literally, you pop them in a little spot, very specific places, and it just goes and makes a small explosion happen. Like, that is all it does. It just makes something go. I don't really think there is a component for explosive, or so. I mean, fire. So, I mean, these are like quite impressive little things, and they're so. You know what? Let's just. I'm just gonna try and scour these as quickly as I can. See, like, okay, what would be justifiable? No, it wouldn't be that. Fire, maybe. No, it's not. So my mind is going, do I just make this ridiculous and make it like a goddess / deity? Because these are like big, impressive things, and you just stole one. Which I'm kind of down for. Actually, what if we said ancient? Because this has come from a underground temple that's been sunk for hundreds of years. It's the second component. It's right under adamantine. So yeah, the indestructible, petrified proof, petrified touch, or resurrection properties. Mostly focusing on the indestructible one, I think, because you can actually combine indestructible and explosive to make something explode and then make it explode again and again and again. Oh god. This is going to be fun. Okay, so now that we've figured that out, how is Reno spending her downtime for this first shift? So from post-battle to nighttime, and then through to the next morning. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Um. So, I don't think you need to roll anything for that. I think, thematically and just character-wise, that's just the thing you do. You just go, huh, okay, and you tinker, you improve a little bit of the efficiency. Like, I like this. I think this is going to be a defining part of my personality. Hmm. All the while, there's just two chocobos in giant hamster wheels just running very happily. Just, yeah, it's inexplicable. You look around, that you don't see a music box. Just whenever you're in this room, you just hear this bum 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 bum. It's just there. See, the thing is, if you could technically learn that, because Chocobo can cast that innately. If you basically got into a fight with a Chocobo, you could probably learn that. um, well, probably, because sometimes one of them needs to rest. You do see they are on some kind of shift pattern. Yeah. So, oh my god. When you arrive at port, you're gonna take these out and just walk them around until a wild creature attacks them, aren't you? Oh god. Oh, I love this game. It's so fucking ridiculous. Alright. So, yeah, you sit, you tinker, you study, you contemplate murdering one of the engines. um, is there... Yeah, like all the little electrics and things like that. There's a brief flickering of energy, and everyone kind of looks around and goes, "Huh?" Okay, is there anything else you're particularly interested in doing? Like anything you want to explore, or anybody you want to go and talk to, or anything like that? Or are you happy to go like, "No, this is my downtime"? Alrighty. So let's jump to Malcolm. Obviously, you're steering the boat, but you can leave it and come back and check on it every couple of hours. That'll be fine. What would you like to do with your downtime for this? I like that. Look, you need to be more confident because I'm sick of your shit. Okay, so I want to know how this scene goes. So Raiko, who is no longer a giant whale, that apparently had missiles on it. The thing is, we can actually make that canon. We can make these things look however we want them to. Do we want Bismarck to have a giant water cannon and missiles and a gun? Like, so, well, this is the thing. We can do whatever we want with these things. I've just got like generic sprite work for them. I think I mostly just got like the sprite work from Final Fantasy VI, I think, for a lot of them. But we can design these things to look however we want them to. So if we really like the design of Bismarck from, say, Final Fantasy 15, where it's got a giant narwhal spike, we can go, yeah, that's a Bismarck we want. It's cool. Aesthetic is important, so we can do whatever we like with them. Okay, so we didn't actually get to do it because you killed the enemy a little bit too quickly. But after 3 turns, Bismarck gets to do its like big ultimate attack, which to describe it is called it's an astroflow and it's called Sea Song. So Bismarck's whale song fills the area as the entire battlefield is flooded with water. Without warning, he swims rapidly through the field, pulling a current of water with him, doing resolve times 6 plus 2d6 of water damage to all enemies. How do we make the hat fit into that? Wait. Ooh, yes, okay. So, he does that, he starts like, he starts like just swimming in circles, whale song, go, and the water starts building and building. And so he's got a little hat, and like a little eye patch forms, and a little water hook forms, and the giant wave forms, but it forms a giant pirate ship. So it's a giant pirate ship made of water that swings down and crashes into the enemies, and then just splooshes everywhere. And Bismarck stands at the helm, stands on his tail, little fins, on the giant steering wheel made of water, a little hook over one of his fins, and he goes, "Yarr!" Look, I want this stuff to be real dumb. I cannot explain how dumb I want this stuff to be. So, if we ever get Bismarck to be summoned for 3 turns, that is 100% what is happening. 100%. Okay. Got my shit together. So, Malcolm, I very much want to know what that scene goes like with you chatting to Raiko. So you'll be taking a break from the engine, from the steering. Raiko, I'm gonna say Raiko is sat on the bow of the ship. Not sat. Sorry, they're just gonna be stood there looking out into the ocean, somewhat wistfully, but also there's definitely a twinge of just taking in the awe of the natural beauty of the open ocean and just like, wow, this is so cool. I'm out on a boat. This is pretty. Huh? Yeah. Oh, okay. Raiko stands up, holding Tauntaun, and hugs Tauntaun in close. So, hi. Also, you. Ah! Oh, okay. So, what? Do I have to? Mm. Okay, so he was like, yeah. So it's like provoking. It's going, do it. And so they are going to like jump back a little bit, and you see that they are thinking and panicking, and their natural reaction is to start trying to cast a spell, but You're a spellcaster. You know that takes way too long. So... okay, oh, okay, so what if, Tauntaun, go! He just throws Tauntaun at you. Yeah. Well, actually, he's just gonna try and roll an attack. His accuracy is not wonderful, so unless he does fantastic, no, he rolled a 4 on the die, and I know he does not. He does not have a +3 to hit your 7, does he? No, so Tauntaun just like splats on the floor, or you can like grab it in the whip, however you want it to. Okay, that didn't quite work. So what would you do if you were me, or if you were in my position? Because Tauntaun can fight stuff, but I'm not very good at aiming Tauntaun or using them in any effective or meaningful manner. Like my spells are quite good, but that takes time and is not amazing in one-on-one combat, especially not when someone's cracking a whip at me. Yeah, you know what, you can go find some. Of course you can. Okay. I was about to say, I can go one step further. They're not golden statues. They're those awful, like, cardboard cutout type things that, shitty businesses use and political campaigns use of someone, like, with a big, horrible thumbs up and they've got a terrible, shitty slogan on them. Yeah. So, there's basically some promotional material that is all in the shape of Parumt. So you... in the background, are you fairly certain there is a rousing but uplifting musical number playing that encourages someone to be as swift as a coursing river? To have the strength of the raging fire? Yeah. Is that playing somewhere in the background as this montage goes? Yes. Okay, so here's the question. Where does Raiko put the... So is he just putting the belt on around the waist? Or are we going to do like full on Final Fantasy and have it go like just around one leg? Or have it like loop down and hang, or are we gonna have it over the chest? You know, because this is Final Fantasy. Belts can go anywhere. I like that. So like, so it crosses over Raiko's chest in like a bandolier style, and tightens it, and it becomes, you know, it's only going to be like a couple of days training, but you can tell in a couple of days training, like, it's not like super muscular or defined, but you know, there's definitely some muscle building there. Raiko is, and more than that, like, there's definitely like an aura of confidence brewing there. Raiko stands a little bit straighter. They aren't any straighter, but they stand a little straighter. So I like that. We're encouraging character development. Nice. Okay. Okay. So, that actually throws us in perfectly, because I was just about to ask Lilith, what do you want to do for this bit of downtime? And if it's just assist in training Raiko, yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay, you know what? And with that, okay. So unless anybody has like anything specific they want to do, like on the next day, because you've got like another full day's worth of travel. I assume probably just do more of the same. If there's anything specific, you can say so now. But if not, we can say you spend another day's traveling, and we will end the session with you being able to see the shoreline of Besaid. So the next session will start by arriving there. Hmm. 100%. You find like some. You maybe find like some duct tape or something, or some kind of tape, so you can like tape them back together, so you can keep using them. Yeah, when one of the chocobo is taking a break, Raiko is just having to run on it. Going, I like that. Okay. Not a problem. One other thing I want to add to that. Whilst Raiko is training on the giant chocobo wheel, so is Tauntaun. Tauntaun is also running. It's... Sometimes it seems like that, but then every now and then Tauntaun will slip, because Tauntaun's a little plushie, so Tauntaun's footing will slip, and Tauntaun will end up doing a full rotation in the wheel, and going right back round. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, they're stitched onto Tauntaun's little plushy hands. So, okay. So with that, like I said, unless anybody has like a specific other thing they want to do in the next day of downtime, we can say more of the same. You rest, you eat, you train. We'll end the session with just on the horizon. You can make out the beautiful, crisp white beach of what appears to be a really tranquil, tropical-looking island, and you are fairly certain you can see a group of young people from this distance. There's no clear way to determine gender or their identification, but you see them, and you see them like throwing a ball to and fro. And we will end the session with that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and sticking around. I have been the Bardic Knock. You can find me on the internet, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube as the Bardic Knock. I'll get this edited and uploaded, ideally by Wednesday. So it'll be up, and we'll be back again in 2 weeks. And I, hopefully, if nothing goes awry, I am also going to start searching for a 4th player, because obviously we sadly lost Kupo, who they had to drop out for various IRL reasons. But if we can find a nice 4th player, I think Besaid is a wonderful place to get a 4th player to join in. I think that'll be a wonderful transition. So I will start looking around, and obviously, players, if you know people, you can pass them like, hey, do you want to play this dumb anime game with us? That'd be awesome. Alright, players, do your sign-offs. ATB, go. Okay. You certainly did. You turned your sword into a blade of darkness and cut a giant tentacle in half by sacrificing your own life energy. I think that counts. Okay, if that is such a bard energy. So you don't hang out with Gilgamesh. What about Gilgamesh? Yeah. Alrighty. So, Nat, who are you? He is. I highly recommend it. It's good stuff. And then finally, Rain, who are you? God. Who signed off on that? Hmm. Okay, so just out of curiosity, like, is there a backlog of these somewhere? Because I need to catch up on the Adventures of Granny Glock. Perfect. I'm gonna go catch up on that because I need to learn more about Granny Glock. Alrighty. So with you know what, I think that's a perfect note to sign off on. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time, stay safe and happy adventures. Bye bye.